I personally think that the biggest thing that holds most people back in life is fear of judgment and also living for other people. You know, whether it's your parents, your friends, your peers, your people on your social medias, it's like you're constantly thinking of and considering everyone else around you for every single decision that you make in your life. And don't get me wrong, right? It's good to live for others, whether you want to provide for your family, for your wife, pay back your parents, help your friends, and of course living for God as well. All of these things are absolutely necessary to living a fulfilling life. Even I myself, I've said repeatedly on here that life is about doing something beyond yourself. As enticing as you might think it is, life isn't about getting rich, flexing on social media, traveling, and then chilling on some beach. You'd probably go insane within a month before you had a midlife crisis. However, through navigating life and trying to be a good person, trying to find purpose, trying to find fulfillment through impact or connections, just through all these things that you're trying to focus on in life, it's easy to forget that it's okay to live for yourself sometimes. It's okay to want something for yourself. And again, no, I'm not talking about buying a mansion or supercars or some designer crap, but to chase what you want to do in life and to be around people who appreciate you, that you enjoy being around. To have and to chase your own dreams, aspirations, and goals. Not what your parents said, not what your family said, not what your teacher told you, not what you think will impress your friends on social media, but what you genuinely want for yourself. Like, doing something you don't want for the sake of pleasing other people around you is such a heavy burden to carry throughout your life. And that's a weight that's gonna slowly crush you, and most people realize when it's too late. To hate waking up, to live for the weekends, to dread Mondays, and to have time pass by you and feel like you have no control over your life. And then try to drink the pain away on Friday nights or drown yourself in consumption. It's like you don't always have to feel like you owe someone an explanation. Like, at the end of the day, it's your life. And I'm not saying that as a projection. I just know that there's a lot of people out there that feel the weight of opinions and expectations from everyone around them. And trust me, I definitely know how heavy that is. And you gotta free yourself from that before you can do anything else. Like, man, it's so easy to forget that we're not gonna be around forever. And it's funny because you hear that and you're like, yeah, obviously, we all know that there's only 3 guarantees in life. There's death, taxes, and me always speaking facts. It's like, yeah, duh, of course, we all die someday, right? But if that's the case, it's like, then why don't you live like it? I always have this idea that when I reach my end, I'm just gonna see a highlight reel of my life that kind of flashes before my eyes. And there'd be absolutely nothing worse if that highlight reel was just me living for other people the entire time. It's like you gotta make sure that highlight reel is worth watching with no regrets. Because one day you're gonna wake up and realize that all this time you spent living for others, just considering everyone else around you for every decision you make in your life, you're gonna realize real quick that everyone else just passed right by you because everyone else lives for themselves. That's a cost of being too selfless that I had to learn early on. And it's like, yeah, people are gonna like you, people are gonna appreciate you for the time being and think you're a very nice person. But at the end of the day, everyone is gonna go live their lives. And this is why a core message of my videos is to focus on yourself. Because I remember when I was a lot younger, I used to be that kid that just wanted to be good with everyone. Just nice, friendly, super unintimidating. Not necessarily because I was afraid to step on toes, but I just didn't want to disappoint anyone. And the older you get, you're going to realize that you're going to have to learn how to disappoint people. If you walk around life being afraid to disappoint people, you're not going to be able to live for yourself. I didn't know how to be selfish back then. I didn't know how to have my own back. I had everyone else's back besides my own. And unfortunately, that just doesn't get you anywhere in life. You're not going to be happy, and it's going to leave you with a lot of emptiness and frustration. It's like, how many people live for their partners or their girlfriend or their wives or maybe husband if you're one of the 5% of girls watching this right now. Don't worry, I still see you guys. But I didn't realize how many guys go through divorces and are left with nothing until I started making videos, really. Started getting emails, started reading comments. Like, I know a lot of the times I speak to younger guys just because that's where I think I can give the most value. But I forget that there's a good amount of you that are in your late 20s, 30s, and even 40s. Which kind of blows my mind sometimes, but is also very humbling at the same time, so thank you. But it's like, we all know the divorce rates in America, right? 50% of marriages end in divorce, 40 to 50%. But I didn't really understand or internalize that until I started reading emails. But it got me thinking, it's like, how many guys spend their entire lives living for this one person and then one day just lose everything that they've been living for? Because the majority of the divorces are initiated by women, 70% if I'm not mistaken. Like, I'm trying to imagine that, like, one day your wife just doesn't love you anymore and for whatever reason she decides that she can do better. And just like that, what you've been working for, living for, just like that, everything's just gone. And it sounds kind of dramatic, but it happens a lot. It's like you treat this other person like they're your world and you're living for this person and you're still not enough. That's why it's like, no matter what, you can't forget to live for yourself as well. There was a photo the other day of Trump and Obama that definitely went a little bit viral. It was both of them just kind of laughing and chatting it up during Carter's funeral. And there was definitely a lot of takeaways. They say that a picture can say 1,000 words, but I could only think of 3. And those words were focus on yourself. Because you look at that photo and it's like, you realize that people at the top play an entirely different game than the rest of us. It's like life is a game to them, like who can gain the most power and control, while most average people are living paycheck to paycheck, just trying to survive. Because you think about everything that they've said about each other and how they profited in both ways playing their roles, just kind of being on opposing sides. And by the way, I'm not even saying that they didn't mean those words that they've said to each other. Maybe they're friends behind the scene, maybe they're not, but I'm sure they've meant every single word that they've said about each other. When you're at that level of power, I'm sure you could care less who you offend. All the personal attacks, all the low blows, all the slandering. Like Obama was saying all types of shit while he was trying to help Kamala win. And Trump's definitely said his fair share about Obama as well. And now about a month or 2 later, they're just laughing it up at Carter's funeral. For those at the top, it's just a part of the game. You can tell there's an unspoken understanding between those people at the top. I'm sure they could try to assassinate each other and then the next day just eat dinner like nothing happened. Because they don't exist in the same world that we do. When you're that rich, famous, and powerful and have beaten the game, you start making the rules. Even if they disagree, you can just tell that there's an unspoken respect and understanding between them, between those at the top. And meanwhile, those at the bottom have invested so much into playing the game that they created. Like just imagine all the people that invested their energy, their time, their emotions, and gotten these people in the positions that they're in and believe everything that they say. Whether that's buying whatever crappy books politicians try to peddle after leaving the office to get another stream of revenue, getting you to vote for them so that they can be in positions of power to leverage that influence to their desires, kind of like pardoning your entire family for their crimes right before you leave the office. All the energy that most people invest into fighting the opposing side, only to be like, wait, you guys are cool behind the scenes? Like you guys are friends? I thought you were on our side. It's like George Carlin said, it's one big club and we're not in it. Just like another famous musician said that they don't really care about us. They don't. And you shouldn't care about them, at least not to the extent where it's things that you can't control. You gotta focus on yourself. And also, you have to be selfish before you can be unselfish. That's another thing. You can't help anyone if you can't even help yourself. You can't really give anything if you don't have anything to offer. Even though we all have different goals and aspirations, one thing we all share in common is that we all want to live life on our own terms. Like I don't think anyone is gonna disagree with that. And in order to do this, the first step is accepting that it's okay to live for yourself as well. Like think about what you genuinely want to do in life. Think about what you want your life to look like. Think of the version of yourself that you want to be. And then go look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm doing this for me. And it's like, I get it, bro. You want to make your parents happy. You want the respect of your peers. You want the validation from your friends. You want to be a good person. You want to live for God. And I agree with all of that. Just make sure that you don't forget about yourself. And it's okay to live for yourself. It's okay to want something for yourself. If you're doing something that you don't align with just because you're considering someone else's opinion, you gotta get rid of that. Because that's only gonna kill you slowly. Even if that relationship might suffer, that's a sacrifice that you gotta make. Just try to be there for yourself because we go through most of our problems in life by ourselves anyways. Most of the things we go through are way more mental than it is physical. When you live for yourself, you're so much happier because you're living in alignment with your purpose, your values, your morals, and your beliefs. And when you're happy, everyone else around you can feel that. And in a way, it's actually better for your relationships in the long run. Just try to keep yourself in mind, try to take care of yourself, try to prioritize yourself, and live for yourself. Be selfish so that you can be unselfish. Anyways, hopefully you got some from that. A little bit of motivation. Thank you for listening. I love you. I appreciate you. And with that said, make sure you stay true, and I'll talk to you real soon. Peace.